Okay, we can escape this slide because this we can escape because and this also I have covered in my. Yeah, this also we can escape because I've already told this in the beginning. Yeah, right. Better previous one, please. Previous one, just before this. Just before this. Yeah, right. I can find the right. So I'm trying to escape the previous slides because I have already talked previously about myself. So it's just a waste of time in talking the same thing. So now I come straightway to my and let me see that I stick to the 10 minutes. I'm just having a look at my watch. 10 minutes. Okay. So title of my presentation is a short-term and long-term effects of child sexual abuse, which I have abbreviated as CSA, which stands for child sexual abuse. So I'm talking about, I will talking before you what are the different implications of child sexual abuse and why this happens and what are its consequences. So my work says that it has both long-term and short-term implications of child sexual abuse. So just to begin with, first, very quickly, let me tell you about objectives of my work. In this my work, I'm trying to present before you the discussion of short-term and long-term consequences of child sexual abuse, which have abbreviated as CSA, child sexual abuse. So just to save the time and to make this easy and to make the things easier, I'll be using this word CSA, which is also known as sometimes known as child molestation. So and in my work, I have like previous work, I have used secondary data in my work, which are qualitative in nature, and this I have collected data from secondary sources, and method of data analysis is descriptive. And as I said in the previous slide, I have used my own experiences which I have acquired over the years, and plus that statement of, and plus the data which I've collected. So now a statement very quickly. Let me tell before you why this child sexual abuse is a problem, is a social problem, and why I chose to take up this study. What is the reason why I got interested in studying the child sexual abuse, which I have abbreviated as CSA. So before I go ahead, very quickly, allow me to how I define CSA in my work. I define CSA as a sexual activity with a child or an adult or adolescent or other or older child. And if any adult engages in sexual activity with a child, that is sexual abuse. So this is a sexual abuse, so exploitation of children. And there are two main types of CSA. One is touching and non-touching. So first, let me tell you about touching. So touching includes touching a child's genitals with private parts, his or her. So when I use the word child sexual abuse, a child may be in terms of sex, it may be both male child and it may be female child. So when I'm using the term child genitals, so in case of female it comes vagina or breast, and in case of a boy child it comes to her penis and other private parts. And making a child touch someone else's genitals and playing sexual games or putting objects or body parts inside the vulva or vagina, in the mouth or in the anus of a child for sexual pleasure. So this is a touching aspect of child sexual abuse. Now let me tell you very quickly about non-touching. What are the non-touching aspects of child sexual abuse? So non-touching abuse includes showing pornography. Non-touching means a person does not touch a child. Showing pornography, number one. Exposing a personal genitals to a child. For example, somebody shows his or her private parts to the child. So there is also aspect of another aspect of child sexual abuse. And prostituting or trafficking a child, photographing a child in sexual poses, encouraging a child to watch or hear a sexual act. If somebody encourages a child to watch or see the pornography or a sexual act, that's a part of child sexual abuse. or a video and watching a child undressed. So child sexual abuse has various dimensions. So this is there are two aspects, touching and non-touching aspects of child sexual abuse. So allow me to move to the next slide so that there is some left out. Can you change the slide, please? Yeah, we can escape this slide. This is just depiction. Yeah. I thought before I go ahead, I thought I study and I must present before you. Why children are sexually abused? Child sexual abuse is a major. I don't know whether it's not a health problem. It's a social problem. Not only in many countries of the world. Let me talk. Let me not talk much about that. So why children are abused? That's very important. And it's a child sexual abuse. That I will be talking a little later. What are its implications in terms of long-term implications, short-term implications? But it's a major problem before us. So in terms of reasons why children are abused, I find that understanding why people abuse is important because it can in some cases help us prevent them from carrying out the abuse and work out the best ways to protect children. So once we know the reasons why children are abused, probably we can come out with a solutions or viable solutions or some concrete strategies with the help of which child sexual abuse or CSA can be prevented or minimized. So that's why I thought let me present before you the reasons responsible for child sexual abuse. And also we find that when somebody decides to sexually abuse a child, a range of factors are likely to play a part. Sexual enjoyment can be a motive for abusing a child, but it is not the only one, and there are usually also other motives at play. Other motives people might have to abuse a child include wanting to control someone's feeling and powers. If somebody is sexually aroused, they just for his or her sexual pleasure, he or she may decide to exploit a child or abuse a child. So this is one aspect, and also manage or act difficult emotions. So it is something which involves psychological considerations. We need to look at the person who abuses. He may be a wrong or a negative frame of mind because it's not a normal act. So some people, due to various reasons, some bad experiences with childhood age and also the bad experience at the latest stage of life, some people develop they get into different frame of mind where they get addicted to abuse a child, and also gain a status in the eyes of others. Some people may be in a I'm just struggling to find the right word. Maybe in a state of health, in a state of frame of mind where they think that he or she abuses a child, he is better positioned in the society. So, and okay. And also it hurts some people get enjoyment in hurting. So if the child is abused, the abuser might feel happy. It may give him some pleasure. And also feel closer to someone. So it's closer to someone. And also because children are vulnerable and they don't hide these things. They hide this, and they are sometimes they are threatened not to disclose the sexual acts when their children are abused to others. So and also there may be a situation wherein children are left alone at home. Parents are away for the work and for other responsibilities. So that also might be one reason why children are abused. So, and children are also often targeted for sexual abuse simply because they are usually more vulnerable than adults. Because children, they are not grown up. They are not matured enough how to take care of them. They do not know what is right, what is wrong. They are not adequately matured to understand what is right, what is wrong. And in case they also do not know how to take care of themselves and how to abuse and how to prevent the abuse when they are being abused. So they are more soft, maybe I can use the word soft target in the hands of abuser. So these are some of the reasons, brief and very quick points on the regions responsible for child sexual abuse. I thought present before you. I think I should move to the next slide. Yeah. Yeah, in continuation with the previous slide, and also there are psychological difficulty, as I said in the beginning. Yeah, okay, I can go to this. I have covered that. And supportive, why people sexually abuse. So supportive friend, the people around an abusive person are often important. Abusers may seek out like-minded friends who encourage abuse, or at least make it seem more okay and normal. Group dynamics can lead to abusive behavior escalating. People may commit more extreme abuse to show off those around them, and also opportunity. More generally speaking, where someone who wants to abuse a child actually does not, so will depend on a lot of their day-to-day opportunity. For example, many potential abusers won't try to abuse if the child cannot find a way to be alone. So that's why I told the beginning, children are left out and alone. And also, yes, another point, my authorities say that exposure to pornography, which is banned in many countries, in many societies. So this also exposure to pornography, and pornography acts through mobile phones and smartphones and other devices and other social media. This also might be one of the reasons why people decide to abuse children, and also pornography in general, and child, and okay, understand that. And child pornography, exposure to child pornography. Next slide, please. Yeah, I got the message. So these are the some short-term term effects and long-term effects. So these are short-term effects. Pregnancy may be a reason. Okay, want me to wind. Okay. So in terms of a short-term effect, there may be fear, anxiety, guilt, shame, and depression. These are all outcomes, short-term impact, and acting out of violence and anger, and physical harm in the form of injury or genitals, painful urination, stomach ache, sexually transmitted diseases. We can understand these brief points. We can understand that. I don't need to elaborate on that. Can we move to the next slide so that? And also in terms of short-term effects, I found that pregnancy, in case the female is the one who is being abused, low self-esteem, sleep disorders, disturbed sexual behavior, poor social function, lack of desire to be people around, poor academic performance, tendency to skip classes. So these are some of the short-term impacts of child social abuse. This is what I have found on the basis of data which is collected for the purpose of this presentation. Next slide, please. Yeah, now I talk about long-term effects. When the children enter into adulthood, what repercussions child sexual abuse can have during their in their life. So my work says that alcohol and drug abuse, including a smoking, this may be one of the reasons, and also low self-esteem, depression, and suicidal tendency during the later stage of life. Because child abuse is something which brings in trauma to among children. So some of the indicators may not be, some of the outcomes may not be at the during childhood days, but at later stage of life, some of they may be confronted with several challenges, and less sexually active, unhealthy attitude about sex, and not being able to trust themselves, friends, and others, because the experiences which I have during the abuse, it has implications on their both physical and mental health, as well as their emotional well-being. So their entire personality gets, in brief, I would like to say that the entire personality gets distorted. So they don't have a normal personality. And in case those, in case of frequent child sexual abuse, if a child is exposed to the abuse over a period of time, so its implications are more, and it becomes very challenging, and it becomes very challenging for the medical doctors, for parents, and for other health providers to address this problem. So we need to understand the child sexual abuse in its totality. Okay, so next slide, please, because I have been told to wind up my. Yeah. So it says that it has several implications, both in terms of in long-term and short-term implications, and it has no boundaries. It happens everywhere, irrespective of class, irrespective of race, ethnicity, and in many such situations, child sexual abuse occurs, but it is not reported due to various reasons. So sometimes these incidences are what I should say underreported. This is under important challenge in the context of child sexual abuse, and with both short-term and long-term implications. CSA involves an interaction between abuser and the child. The child is the focal of the sexual stimulation of the offender, with the minor being often silenced with threat. Uh, Sometimes, as I told, that abuser uses his or her power to silence the child so that the matter is not revealed in front of others. And all stakeholders, including schools and colleges, have role to play. And most of the abuser, child sexual abuse takes place in schools, roads, social gatherings, and many other events and social gatherings. Next slide, please. So by and large, I have covered all my points, and since we have limited time, because others also should have time to make their presentation. So very quickly, allow me to make only 3 brief points. My paper briefly concludes that victims of child sexual abuse respond in diverse ways, which can be changed over time with adequate preventive measures. So they and different, and all children respond to the abuse in a different manner. It is not the same way every child responds, but it has impact on their mental health, which has implications for over years, over a period of time. And in case of frequent child sexual abuse, as I said earlier, it becomes more challenging. So with this, I end my presentation, and I thank you everybody for listening to me. And now I'm open for questions for real presentation as well as for this presentation. And alternatively, this slide has given my email address as well as my other contact details. So you can reach me. Thank you so much once again for providing me with the opportunity to present my research.